First of all, please allow me to introduce our guest speaker for this evening. But before doing so, allow me to greet each and every one of you by simply saying, through it all, the pandemic and etc., still what a mighty God we serve. Amen. We got a great evening set up for our own coach, Bennie Lewis. A lot of you individuals didn't know Bennie is a God-giving man. I've got proof of it. I've been knowing him a long time. And I'm gonna ask Mr. Tag, I'm gonna show proof of Bennie being a God-giving man. Tag, where you at? If you look in his arms, in his hands, that's the Holy Bible. He is truly a God-giving man. Coach Vinnie Lewis. Also, guys, in a moment here, got a little something for you. Coach Bennie Lewis, where you at, brother? I watched you a long time. A lot of other individuals watched you a long time. I'm gonna show y'all Bennie Lewis. For how many years? Bennie Jr., 37 years, Mr. Coach Lewis. Hold on. Coach Bennie Lewis. Bennie would always have a cigar and a whistle in his possession. But guess what? He would have the whistle in his mouth and the cigar. I can't do it at the same time. Believe it or not, and chewing some bubble gum. Coach Lewis, cigar in the mouth, whistle is what we know you about, Bennie Lewis. And it's unique, it's different. No other coach in this area present themselves like that. At this time, I'm asking every ball player under the leadership of Coach Lewis to stand up. Where you at, guys? Thank you, gentlemen. Hey, Coach, I really feel like you up here, man. And in other words, hey, y'all, watch this move. Bennie arguing with a referee. Watch what move I do.
Yep, that's that move.
One of the players on the bench trying to get in the game. My man, Coach Lewis. Hey guys, I'm about to introduce our guest speaker for this evening. Y'all check it out. Mr. Telly Hughes is a two-time Emmy award-winning sports announcer and an East St. Louis Lincoln High School class of 1995 graduate. Telly is currently a studio host and play-by-play announcer for the Big Ten Network. Prior to joining the Big Ten, Hughes spent 8 seasons as the post-game show host, sideline reporter for the Milwaukee Bucks. Where he had exclusive interviews with Lakers legend Kobe Bryant, President Bill Clinton, and the NBA's all-time leading scorer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, just to name a few. Talley also spent 6 seasons as the sideline reporter for the Milwaukee Brewers before going to work for FS1 Fox Sports Radio in Los Angeles. ESPN Milwaukee Radio, and created his own YouTube series called Untold Truth with Talley, amongst other endeavors. Hughes is married to fellow Lincoln graduate, 1996, Toya, and together they have 2 daughters. Right now, I want each individual to get off your feet, stand up, and let's receive one of our own, Talley Hughes.
Thank you. I've never had a stand ovation. I know how that feels. But once again, good evening. I'm Talley Hughes, Lincoln class of 1995, and I played both baseball and basketball for Bennie Lewis. It's a tremendous honor to be in this room with some of the greatest athletes to ever come out of East St. Louis. And we all know that we are bonded together by one man and one person that we all played for, and we all at one point felt the wrath of the other end of when he took that cigar out of his mouth. Because he knew how to talk with it in his mouth. So that meant if he took it out of his mouth, probably not something good gonna happen. So Bennie, we had so many stories, so many times. And actually, for the first 2 years I was at Lincoln, I didn't even think Bennie knew my name. He called me Moonhead. I don't know why. Did I see why they called me? Anyway. But he actually turned my nickname into another nickname. He just started calling me Moon. And I just knew, like, all right, that's who I am to Vinnie Lewis. But no, it's unbelievable to really think about like all the things and the impact that he had on all of our lives. A lot of us did not have father figures in our home, and he was the man that filled that void for so many of us. And we want to thank both Miss Rowena for sharing your husband all those years. Vinnie Jr., Ricky, thank you for sharing your dad. He served as a dad for a lot of us. And as we know, the career he had as a head coach is one that we probably will never see again. But what we don't give him enough credit for, the stats that really count, are the number of young men that he helped cultivate to go on to live successful lives. Sports broadcasters, NBA players, head coaches, you name it, whatever field, Vinnie Lewis had a part of helping mold us to who we are. And so I want to get things kicked off, and we're going to start it off with the guard from the 1987 Lincoln Tigers State Championship team. This person would go on to earn a baseball scholarship at the University of Northern Iowa before being drafted by the Atlanta Braves. He would go on to play several minor league seasons before returning home and becoming an assistant coach at Cahokia High School, a position he held for 12 years. You want to talk about patience and perseverance. It takes a lot to hang in the game at that level, in that position. But he waited it out, And in 2018, after 13 games at Eastside, they wanted to make a change and they hired their second coach since 2014. So he took over a program that did not have a lot of stability. Finished out the season, said, we're going to be fine. In his first full season, 2019, Mark Chambers led East St. Louis Senior High School to their first ever state championship in school history. He remains the coach, and he was also coached by Bennie Lewis. Give it up, everyone, for Eastside's head coach, Mark Chambers.
So I'm just going to do the occasion. I just want to welcome you all, right? This is something that when I took over as the head coach at East St. Louis Senior High School, this is one of the things that we wanted to do, right? It's so many, in our city, we are quick to not embrace or not support. But one of the things that I wanted to do, I wanted to acknowledge Coach Vinnie Lewis, Coach Boss, because he deserves it, right? He deserves it. And I think all of his former players, we share the same sentiment because this is long overdue. He's been retired for over 20 years, and we're like, you know what, it's time. So this is one of the things on my bucket list as far as making sure that Boss and everybody knows how we feel, so make sure that everybody knows how we feel about you. And this is our way of saying thank you. Just a small thing, but at the end of the day, you meant so much to all of us. And I know my first game first time I saw Lincoln, I was 10 years old. And at that point, you gotta remember the movie Brown Sugar, when you first fell in love with hip hop. Well, that's when I first fell in love with basketball. That's when I first fell in love with Lincoln Senior High School at 10. And some of the guys, Chris Rogers and Rodney, we were talking last night, and we looked at guys like Todd Porter and Daryl Morgan, Calvin Pfeiffer. Those were the first guys that we started to watch. And all of us, even though we didn't know each other, we were on the same path. And it was surreal when we got there and we were able to fill those shoes, even though we still haven't been able to fill those shoes because you're definitely not number one. You got number one. We appreciate it. The boss, we just thank you, man. And you all, let's just celebrate. Let's celebrate tonight. The boss.
Nick, did you want to do something here? Okay.
I'm playing the role of Vince State. That was Bennie's long-time trainer. Here's roll call. If you hear, I need to hear here. All right. Jimmy Ike. Nick Cannon. Michael Parks. Vinnie Lewis Jr. Darryl Morgan. James Brown. Ricky Lewis. Todd Porter. Ortegas Williams. Javon Lewis. Larry King. Clark Waters. Cedric Irving. Mark Dale. Mark Chambers. German Yancey. George Mumford. Mr. Darius Miles. Ronnie Gully. Lamont Cannon. Edmund Jones. Marco Harris. Rico Sylvester. Sharif Ford. Ed Spanky Wilson. Hey, let's enjoy ourselves As Coach Bennie would tell us, Sunday, tomorrow, practice, 9 o'clock. Everybody be there.
All right, I know you all are hungry, and I talked about the year 2019. That was a special year in the city. 4 state championships, football, basketball, and track, and one of the men that helped lead that boys state track team to the championship is head coach Barry Malloy. We're going to ask him to come up. And Barry is going to bless the food, and we're going to eat. And then once we do that, we'll continue with the program.
Shall we pray? Eternal God, we come thanking you so much for this day, God. You've been so kind that you've given us a double blessing. You allowed us to live to see this day. And then you also allowed us to live to see a day that we shall never live to see again. So God, for that we say thank you. We thank you for the celebration. We thank you for Coach Vinnie Lewis, his family, his athletes, his coaches, his 89 blocks of support, and all the fans, God. So at this time, we just say thank you, God, for the life, the legacy, and the living presence of Coach Vinnie Lewis. God, now bless this food that we're about to receive for the nourishment of our bodies. And then, God, give us the humbleness to remember those who are less fortunate, because, God, you are just that good. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
So what I've been told, your ticket stub will get you a plate, and we will have a video playing while you all eat dinner. And once again, once dinner is complete, we'll continue the program.
I put this right here. You got a seat over here.
Just a reminder, you do not have to leave your seats. The food will be brought to your tables. Once again, you do not have to leave your seats. Food will be brought to your table. Just relax. There's going to be plenty more time for fellowshipping. All right, as we, everyone's attention, please. as we want to continue with the program, and doing so, you all have noticed this table on this stage, and it's for our distinguished honoree. And we're going to start off with ladies first. As always, not just a good woman behind a good man, they also are on the side of a good man. And with that being said, we're going to have Miss Rowena Lewis being escorted by her two sons, Vinnie Lewis Jr. and Vinnie Lewis. Hold on, folks, we got somebody for you too. We got you. Can you all stand up for Miss Rowena Lewis? And escorting Bennie Lewis will be his daughter-in-law and Ricky's wife, Michelle, and his niece, Angie. So you all can get pictures right now if you want. We'll take a minute to do that. And then we'll continue. I'll wait. Thank you. Tonight we not only honor the coaching legacy of Bennie Boss Lewis, but we also honor the man behind the unlit signature cigar. He always had that cigar in his mouth, and what he did besides have that cigar in his mouth all the time was win. In 2000, he was named the Coach of the Century in the state of Illinois. So you know he had to do something that we probably won't see in our lifetime ever again. Vinnie Lewis started coaching at East St. Louis Lincoln High School, his alma mater, in 1971. And he continued to coach there all the way until 1998 before capping off his coaching career at Eastside from 1999 to 2001. In his 27 seasons at Lincoln, he had a record of 519 and 191. When I saw that win percentage, it made me feel a certain kind of way because Javon, our squad contributed a lot to that 191 and not the 519. But I mean, that's just an amazing number when you think about it. When Bennie took over the program, it was a program that was already on the rise, but he put his stamp on it right away. In his first season, going 24-4. And if I'm not mistaken, he had a son on the team along the way, and they ended up making it all the way to the Edwardsville sectional final, if I'm not mistaken, correct? And that was in 1971. Lewis would go on to architect one of the greatest runs in the 1980s, starting with 4 championships in 8 seasons, and it began with that 1982 team. Yes. But he was already building something along the way. And once the 80s came around, the state of Illinois was put on notice that East St. Louis Lincoln was going to be a problem. And did I mention, in those 519 wins, he was an astounding 14-2 at Assembly Hall. So basically, when Lincoln went to state, it was a wrap. Lincoln was going to win. And it's one of the programs like none other. The third place finishes, we don't even talk about. Because Lincoln was always expecting to win it or they didn't win it. It wasn't no third place. It wasn't no fourth. It was cool. But he was just like, and taking nothing away from his 1990 team and his 2000 team that did finish third place in the state, which is a hell of an accomplishment. But in East St. Louis, it's called City of Champions for a reason. Our first speaker is someone who's been knowing the boss his whole life, literally. As a matter of fact, he has the same name as him, Vinnie Lewis Jr. Vinnie Lewis Jr. was a standout at East St. Louis Lincoln from 1971 to 1974. He was an All-American, All-Metro, All-City, and any other all that was out there that he could get his name on. Bennie Lewis Jr. would go on to Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville on a basketball scholarship and earning his degree in education in 1979. He would go on to have an illustrious professional basketball career in Australia. Y'all give it up for Vinnie Lewis Jr.
I got more stories than y'all could ever believe in. I've been watching them since I was born. First place they took me when I was born was to a basketball game with a 27-1 team. 27 years old? Hey. So I'm sitting up in the gym and they didn't have those capsules and stuff like that. My mom had wrapped me up in bunch of blankets and everything else, but on February, I guess right around the playoff time, just the last couple of games, I'm in that blood, sweat, and tears of gymnasium, listening to balls bouncing and everything else, and my dad is out there playing. So that's my beginning. That's his beginning. Now, fast forward to 1971. Right? Fast forward to 1971, my sophomore year, his first year of coaching. We loaded. We got Gucci, we got Big Dan, we got Dean Harris, we got all kinds of players on the team, and it's also his first year of coaching. Now, obviously, I want to play varsity. I got a whole bomb cast in front of me. Everyone, Joe Spencer could play, James White, Melvin White could play, Dean Harris could play. This is the team that went to the sections. And I finally got a chance. I didn't get a chance to play varsity until the playoffs, until the regionals. And I still remember to this day that first basket I scored against Eastside and winning the regional championship. It was a shot from the top of the key, and you know where it's supposed to go because it banked in. My first varsity basket, loved it. I was hooked in. I was hooked before then. How many people in here went to a Lincoln basketball game before they got to Lincoln? Just he would load that bus up. Come on, you can go. Come on. When we were out of time, everybody ate. Everybody. Whoever was there, everybody rode that bus to your away game, not just the home game. Left the back door open. So folks from the Johnny Shields can get into the game. I'm talking about family. Everybody in knows exactly what I'm talking about. Basketball players. You remember the side goal? They didn't have no nets, or still didn't have no nets on when they tried to go on the field. That's when we had to go shoot free throws. That one goal, you know there, and had somebody there, you know the goal, by the girls' locker room. They still ain't got no nets on. And I walked through that and goes down. Free throws, you see. We practiced, showers didn't work. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. Right through that, every last one of us has been through that. But every time we walked out that door, we looked on that wall and said, what? Everyone, when we walked out that room, remember some of y'all might not remember the orange and black basketball that never touched the floor. We did all our drills, all warm-up drills with that ball, never touched the floor. Those traditions went through all of these basketball players that you see in here, and me, and my family, and my kids, and we all experienced this. I ain't got enough time. I'm telling you, 6 minutes is almost up. But we all Lincolnites. This is a family reunion for me. I'm saying every individual that I either these are two of me. All those particular accolades got me ready. I mean, like right now, they pay the kids to go to camp. Right? So airplanes, phone, everything else. I ain't never been to nobody's camp. What would that touch? I went to that touch. You know, I went to that touch. I went to John Robinson. I went to the park. Where the games were. So you don't need to go, you don't need to tell me. You don't need to go to camp. Just go out to that playground. I ain't looking over there with the Johnny Shields, but simple all the other play. We played everywhere then with Clark. Clark was my road dog. We used to go to Dunbar and play. We used to go to Dunbar.
All right.
Ride our bikes. Jethro and the Grimmins. We played. And Jethro Brown and the Grimmins. Clark will remember. We were playing under that one street like me and Clark used to ride our bikes all the way down there. The game didn't start until like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. We go get some rice. Remember, we go to Johnny Wong's and get some rice. Eat that rice. And we ride our bikes around the block. This is what it was like. It was always about winning the city championship. Beat time. Even today, right now, ain't it hard to put on? Yeah. It's hard. You can't put it on. That's hard. Look at Every last one. Don't think they had whatever they big hat on. I knew Bruce real well. You know, Bruce. We're all family in it. This is the point I'm trying to make. We're all family in it. This is not hard. It's not hard to stay with me. I'm talking to my cousins and my family and my huge Lincoln family. Yeah. One last thing. I've been seeing this picture. I'm going to present this to my dad. It's going to go all y'all. This is a crystal. I don't know if you can see it real well, but I'm going to set it up here so you can get a chance to look at it. But that picture that you saw, my dad had the cigar, the coaching outfit on, one that's on your ticket. This yeah, that's a different story. That's a whole other but this is the kid with it. I don't like it. I'm going to sit it up here on the table with everything else. But this epitomizes what he was all about. Coaching kids. Making men.
You know, another tradition that you left out that all of us had to experience when we went shirts and skins and some of them windows were broken out and it's December. Yeah, you wanted to start bad, did you? Not just because you wanted to start, but you wanted to just wear a shirt. All right, let's keep things moving. Our next speaker was a decorated four-sport athlete for Lincoln from 1975 to 78 before accepting a baseball scholarship to Kentucky State University from 1978 to 83, where he was Rookie of the Year and twice Team MVP. He became a member of the Kentucky State University Hall of Fame class of 2005.
Yes, sir.
He would play 8 seasons of professional baseball in Melbourne, Australia, collecting 3 MVP awards, 3 hitting titles, 6 All-Star selections, and he'll tell you all about it. All you gotta do is just ask him. They call him Pretty Ricky. Ricky Lewis.
Thank you. Well, DeMarco was in Melbourne for a while, but that's another 6 minutes. Well, I tell you, look, when I was young, I had to watch, I always came behind him, just like I had to come behind him today. But I've always had to come behind him. And, but I might just to set the tone a little bit. When I was young, 11, 12 years old, people would ask when I'd be with my father, and we'd be in 3V, if y'all remember 3V. Oh, yeah. So we'd be playing 3V, and I was playing ping pong, and I was basketball, volleyball, and softball. So anyway, we go to certain schools, and they would ask me, "Oh, you gonna be as good as your father?" And I'd say, "Yeah." But in my mind, I'd say, "I'm gonna be better than my father." That's what I was saying in my mind. And so, because I was kind of competitive a little bit. And so when I got to Lincoln, remember the year before that, they were trying to close Lincoln down. They had said that they were going to shut Lincoln down. So when my brother's senior year, there were no 10th graders in Lincoln.
Right.
So I'm now thinking, I guess I got to go to Cahokia because I was not going to Eastside. So I was getting my Cahokia colors together. But then in 1971-72, when the fight took place, there was a guy by the name of Virgil Fletcher that was at Collinsville. And after the fight, Virgil Fletcher swore that as long as he was part of basketball, Collinsville would never play Lincoln again. And they didn't. Every time we get to the regional championship, we lose, and we get cheated, lose by 15, 20, and we had no chance. Because if we would have won the regional championship, we'd have to play Collinsville the very next game. Lincoln didn't leave the regional until after Virgil Fletcher was gone. When Virgil Fletcher left, Lincoln left. Went right on up through into state championship after state championship. Virgil Fletcher was the southern region, he was the head of the southern region. So during that time when I got to Lincoln, I never played Belleville, nothing. Belleville East, Belleville West, Collinsville. We had to travel. We played 3 teams in Kansas City. We played a team in the Rantour, Macomb, Barrington. This is in football and basketball. We didn't play any schools in this area. We played St. Louis schools. So you would thought people would have thought we was part of the Missouri sports program, because we played more teams in Missouri than we played in Illinois. Those teams wouldn't play us, so we basically got blackballed during that period in Southern Illinois. Twice. I went to fights. We had to get police escorts out of Cairo one time for a baseball game. They were cheating so bad that my father took us off the field, and they was going to make us get back on the field and play. So we had to get state trooper escorts out of Cairo. We went to Quincy, Notre Dame. It was their senior day. They gave flowers to their parents, the whole 9 yards. Ronnie Gully was fighting. We were all fighting. My father was fighting. Everybody was, I'm telling you, everybody was fighting. And my sister was fighting. Lonnie Davis was fighting. He was fighting. Everybody was fighting. We had to get state trooper escort out of there as well. But here's the thing, before I got to Lincoln, I was at King Junior High School. And in my last year at King in the 9th grade, I was the quarterback. We was undefeated in football, won a championship. Came to basketball, we lost the first 3 games, then we won 17 games in a row. Beat Clark at the end, they were pissed. We won the championship. Then in track, I was a captain of football, captain of basketball, captain of track. We were undefeated in track. I broke the record in the pole vault. I broke the record in the high jump. So when I get to Lincoln, we had one play in basketball at King. Give me the ball and let me do my thing. That was the only play we had. So I figured when I get to Lincoln, I'm champion. So if Lincoln want to win, I need to get on the same bandwagon that King was on. Just let me do my thing. Football season, we're 11-1, lost the semifinal game. So I go to basketball practice the next day. I got my football body, I'm hard, I'm solid, I'm ready to hit. I go to practice the first day. To me, I'm killing them. I mean, I'm in there just giving them the business. I'm doing it. So I'm all smiles. Well, everybody knows that my father takes players home after practice. Well, the great Ronnie Gully over there in the corner, he's our last drop-off. He lives on 64th and State. We live on 73rd. Ronnie gets out the car. Ronnie don't know this story. My father don't even know this story. Ronnie gets out the car. My father says, as soon as that door closes, "What the hell are you doing out there? You look like a fool." He just was going off and off. He cursed me out from 64th to 73rd, all the way down the street to 215. So he says to me that I can't go to bed tonight until I can tell him all of the plays and everybody's position position on every play that we have, and I need to know the movements of all 5 players on every play before I could go to bed. It's 3 a.m. My father comes in to check to see, can I tell him all the plays and the people? I said, I couldn't tell him. And he said, he gets up, goes back. I'm sitting in the dining room. My mother, she's in bed. Bennie, let that boy go to bed. He said, no. He goes back to bed. I'm still at the dining room table trying to figure out the plays, because he said I looked like a fool, like I never played ball before in my life. So I sit there. I finish. It's 7:30 in the morning. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I can finally tell him all of the plays and all the people. It's 7 a.m. Well, it's time to go to school now. So I get up from the dining room table. I go in and put my clothes on. We ride to school, and I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna be falling asleep. Practice gonna be terrible. I ain't gonna be able to do nothing. It's just gonna be horrible. So I go through school, and I was okay. Get to practice, and I'm feeling pretty good. But once practice started, we started scrimmaging. Oh my God, it was so easy. It was like cheating. I thought I was cheating. I knew everything that was about to happen on the floor. I knew where everybody was supposed to be. So guess what? I got more shots. I didn't get less shots. I'm thinking I need to work so hard to get all these shots. But, and you know I like to shoot, but, yeah, exactly. And all the players who play for me, they got to shoot. So, he was a shooter. But the point I'm making is that what he forced me to do that night has helped me for the rest of my days, throughout my life. I do that now in life. I learn the pieces of it. I learn how to do it. I learn what it's made up of, so I don't get any surprises. The sport was the sport, but it's about life. All of these guys that have been coached under my father, well, maybe 1% of them became professional athletes, but all of them become men. And that's what this is about. Everybody becomes a man, because so many young men become grown men. One more story. I was 12 years old when I won my first basketball game against him. We're in the backyard, and we've been in our backyard before. You know, we got this area where there's concrete and asphalt, then the grass starts. So when you shoot the ball goes out to the grass. We don't have an out of bounds. We have hustle. You just got to hustle. Whoever gets the ball got the ball, but there's no out of bounds. So we're under the basket, the ball's shot, it goes out there. I go to run, he grabs me by my clothes and just slings me back to the concrete. And while he runs out to the grass, he gets the ball. So I'm like, okay, all right. So and if you've seen him play, or if you've seen me and my brother play against each other, you think there's a fight about to break out. But it's not going to be a fight. We just learn to play each other that way. Well, I'm 12, and I can win a game. I'm about to win. I'm dribbling the ball. I'm all the way by the house. Now, my house is that far away from the garage, because that's why. So you guys don't know how I got to shoot so far? Because I was too little to get close to the basket. So I had to learn to shoot by the house. So he's checking me. He checked me all the way out there. He's checking. I put a move on, juked him, came up with the jumper. He jumps up, knocks me down, and the ball goes in. I say, "Get down, punk." He quit. He goes in the house. He tells my mother, "I ain't playing your son no more. He out there cursing me out." So I walk in the house. "Ricky, did you curse at your daddy?" So, but he didn't let us win just to let you win. You have to earn that win. And when you earn that win, it means more to you. So when you earn that state championship, you earn that Hall of Fame, you earn, then it means more to you. And that's the way it was in our household. But also at the time when they were going to close Lincoln, and I saw the look on his face when Lincoln was about to close the first time. And then when they reopened it, I saw the look on his face, it changed back to the light came back on. Well, I was also his assistant coach in '98 when it was time to shut Lincoln down. And I was up there in the march, Black Power, fight the power, we marched out to keep Lincoln open. But I said, let's not go to Eastside to coach. I said no. He said, we have to. I said no. He says, we have to. He says, we have to be loyal to those guys who came to Lincoln to play for us at Lincoln. We have to go coach them and finish their group. I said, but they know this. And they know that when you get there, you ain't gonna leave them other kids either, because that's not you. I say, let's not go at all, and we don't need to get caught up in it. He says, no, we have to go. Because Mr. Darius Miles came to play, for us, and we didn't want to leave, him to have to go to Chicago to play or something like that. But he says we have to go. So I watched him go. So I decided I would go just to make sure he don't kill nobody when we get over there. And Coach Fenoy will also tell you that I kept my orange and black on, and I knew he had to wear orange and blue at times, and I'd tell him, well, I'm wearing it to, just to keep the power for everybody else, but you have to put it on, and I'm glad Coach Fenoy is here, because what I want to say is both of these guys could have left East St. Louis with top athletes before to move on. They could, because that's what, see, up in Chicago, that's what coaches do. They find them a player, and then they ride that player on up to the next level, and they leave those kids that they were coaching at first. I'm looking at two guys in this room right now that could have been gone from East St. Louis many, many, many years ago with the players that they've had in the past. But they've elected to stay here with the kids of East St. Louis every single day. My father did not leave East St. Louis, had many opportunities to. Even when it was time to go to Eastside and coach. And y'all know how we felt about Eastside? Okay. I only wanted to be a visitor in that gym. I never wanted to be on the home team bench. But he went anyway. And what he taught me at that is sometimes the value is greater than the conflict. I'm going to say that again just in case you missed it. Sometimes the value is greater than the conflict. The value of the fact that he needed to go over there and be with those kids and finish those kids that came to be there, not leave, not go somewhere else. He put the conflict aside. Every single day, he put the conflict aside because the value is greater than the conflict. Thank you very much. Just so you know, that this is just an awesome award, just the best ever to do it. And that's what it says. And it's going to Mr. Bennie Boss Lewis.
As you're going to hear from everyone that comes up here, Boss taught us so many life lessons, some unfamiliar, in very peculiar ways. He'll say things and he'll just be like, I don't really know what that means right now, but maybe one day I'll figure it out. But the one thing that everyone that put on a Lincoln uniform understood, wherever we went, it was normally going to be 7 on 5. We were going to somehow get cheated. But the one thing he never said was, we're going to get cheated. He would just say, work hard. Take the referees out the game. You blow them out, you ain't got to worry about that. And it just goes to show, even though you may work hard and life isn't going to be fair, but how are you going to react to it? And at the time, you really don't know that, but you look back and you say, okay, that's why he really wasn't tripping off that, because he knows that when you leave East St. Louis, it ain't going to be fair, and it's just a way to prepare you. So to move on with the program, I mentioned with that first season that the Lincoln Tigers went 24-4, and he was starting to build an empire. By 1979, 1980 team, they reached the Sweet 16 with a 26-2 record. And then it all came to a head in 1982 when they defeated Chicago Mendel 56-50 to capture their first state championship with a 29-1 record. They had a guy named Tyrone Jackson, guy Todd Porter. As a matter of fact, all the 1982 state champions, please stand up. Because you all were the first. I kicked it off. And please keep in mind that this was before recruiting. This was before people were transferring. These were all East St. Louis kids. And he took these kids and worked and started to build an empire. Without further ado, I'm going to call up a member of that 1982 team. He's also Eastside's girls' head basketball coach, Mr. Todd Porter.
If the good Lord has blessed you with your limbs, these group of guys did history. History in East St. Louis. They are the first state champions in East St. Louis forever. Spanky, come forward. Jimmy, come forward. What I want to share with you guys is this. There's a lot of basketball players in here. Before this group, we all fell short. Our hearts were hurt. We cried. We went home and we accepted the defeat. It wasn't easy. Me, Jimmy Ike, Spanky are three of the guys that played right before these guys. We salute them. They are some great ball players. Coach, you taught them well. This trophy represents every basketball team you've coached. Coach Vinnie Lewis, let's listen to the first state champions, Todd Porter and the Titans. Thank you. I'm awesome guy. Yes. Bennie. Boy. We went through a lot. Tell the guys and tell myself and everything, without this man, this lady, we are with people. They did a lot for us. A lot. Before games, after games, we had to stay at this man's house. She cooked for us. She fed us. She did everything. We weren't going anywhere. We're not going to playoff time. But I don't talk that much. I just want to say thank you. You did a lot for me. Ms. Lewis, you did a lot for me. I'm glad that you taught me well. You taught me the game of basketball. You let me play basketball. you told me, go do what you do. You know, and without these guys right here, we wouldn't have did what we did. You know, you have a great group of guys over here that played back in the 80s. These guys helped me and the rest of the guys win the first state championship back in 1982.
Yes, sir.
The reason I called these guys up here is because that's what we did. We worked together, we stayed together. Wherever one went, we all win. You know, we all win. People for life. We went to a party, we all went to a party. One didn't go to a party, we all went to a party. You know, we stayed together, we stayed out of trouble. You know, one thing we did for this man, and I remember telling him, we gonna make sure you like that cigar. He already said, when I win my first state championship, I'm gonna like the cigar. And he did. I just want to thank y'all for treating me like one of your sons. You know, I appreciate everything that you guys did for me, along with Lil Bennie and Ricky. You know, playing against those guys. You know, those guys used to come back. They used to come back from college and come back and play us and dog us out. You know what? It made us better. Yeah. It made us better. You know, he always had these guys coming back from college, you know, to make that next group, you know, get better and everything. I appreciate you two guys. I love you guys. Thank you.
I just want everybody to know that God is good. You know, it takes a village to raise the kids, and we had a village. We had Bennie, the boss. We had his wife, Miss Lewis. We had Clarko. You know, Clarko was a police officer too. We had Jed Brown, and then Coach Hurt. They kept us, they was kind of rough with us, but they kept us on the straight and narrow. But one thing I really want to say, Bennie, I don't know how you really done it, because to be a basketball coach, coming from where we are from, you got to be a father, you got to be a psychiatrist, you got to be everything, because everybody got a different attitude. You know, then you had some people that wasn't getting food. Then he made sure everybody got fed, picked us up, took us home, but you had to be the practice. And one more thing I'm gonna really say, Bennie, I ain't never seen a person like you in my life, because you know the first day I thought my name was Damn Son. Every time, Damn Son. Damn Son. Don't shoot the child. And then that hill, Bennie, if it went from Coach Sam, you know, running that hill, we have 300-400 people out. By the time we get in the gym, we got a squad. So my junior year, I played golf. I saved no money. Do you want to play golf? He said, no, man, I ain't playing no golf. I say, you don't have to run the hill. He say, I'm out there. I said, I'm gonna end this on this. And then there's some players that's in this room that made me who I am today, because I tried to take all of their games and be a part of all of them. And the first one was Ronnie Gully, because he was one of the best shooters I ever seen. So I tried to pat my child. I was just a little high. My release was a little bit better than it. That comes from under that. The second was Vinnie Lewis Jr. Because he gonna go to the hole and he gonna dunk on it. He's not playing with you. Oh, he gonna dunk on you. The third is Ricky Lewis. Because he gonna shoot as deep as he can. He can pass the ball. If he got it, it ain't going to nobody else. So if he bring it up the court and he pass it to you, if you give it back to him, you might be able to get up under the gun. No, DeMarco, Jimmy Harris, boss set us up to be the best we could be. And he didn't give a dog on how rough it was in that gym. Blood, sweat, and tears. I love you, Bennie. I love you, Brody. Anyway, love y'all, and God is good. Keep it going.
I just want to say, first of all, boss, you and your wife, Ms. Lewis, this boss, y'all practically raised me. You know, me coming out the Old Weathers Projects, you know, Lee Lily Freeman and Clark Junior High School. I met Bennie for the first time and he asked me that I want to come to Lincoln High School. And I was debating on Lincoln and East Side, and he told me, pull me to the side, and it's Riviera. Orange and black. He said, Lincoln is the best option for you. He said, it's gonna be tough. There's a lot of great players there. He said, but I see some potential in you. And, I went to Lincoln, and I thought playing basketball in the Old Weathers was tough. But the first day of practice, we ran that hill all day. And then we had to run to Lincoln Park and run a couple miles. And Todd Porter and Tyrone Jackson, T-Roll, used to tell me, this how it's gonna be, man. We gotta do that. We gonna do this. And it's just been an honor, man, just to grace your presence, boss, because you mean so very much to me. Even when I was going through some things, boss, you never judged. Every time I called you, I never wrote your number down, but I never forgot it. And I would call you and tell you how I was doing. And you always told me, just keep your head up, son. And I remember that time you took me out fishing. And I never had no patience. So we got in the middle of the lake. And I'm like, boss man, it's just quiet out here. It's like 5:36 in the morning. And he said, well, this is what you need, son, because you just do too much. I told boss, I said, if you don't take me back, I'm swim back. And he said, let's go. But, you know, when Bennie used to come back, you know, the first day of practice, when Bennie, Bennie, that's how I like to join right there. You know, Bennie used to come in there and just dump on all this and treat us real bad. But he gave us toughness. And we understood what he was trying to teach us, you know. And that's just a testament of what you taught him, you know. And I was never a scorer, but I was a mean rebounder. And defense. But a lot of people don't know this. When we was in state, the first 3 games, I scored the first basket every game. But I motivated our team to get that basket. And once I got that basket, we took off. you, man, these guys right here, and the guys before me and the guys after me, boss, you are the greatest man that I have ever known. And I love you, man.
It's a quick story, another testament to the type of man that Vinnie Lewis is. So, I'm just graduated from college. I'm back in Lincoln. I'm substitute teaching, right? So I'm just walking through the gym, going to my next assignment, and boss sees me. He says, "Sweet Ed Jones." Sweet Ed Jones. Hey, boss, what's going on? He said, "What you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm subbing and everything. I just graduated, stay all good." So he said, "Well, what are you doing after school?" And so I was going to go to Hacker House, right? But I'm going to get boss. So I said, "Oh, nothing, boss." He said, "Oh, this is what you're going to do. You're going to coach with me." I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that." I'm scared to tell him, "No, I'm not going to do that." So he said, "Yeah, you're going to start coaching baseball with me." And I've been coaching for 35 years now. No intention to coach, I just was scared to tell him no. But two characteristics he's the most unselfish man that I've ever met in my life. Most unselfish man. And you know, being a coach for 30-some years now, we all know he's a basketball genius and stuff like that, but one of the characteristics that really goes unnoticed and the real reason why he's really here today, Bennie is long-suffering. He's a long-suffering man. That's a tremendous quality. Every year of his career has not always been roses, but he's a guy that has persevered. And that's what has allowed us to celebrate him tonight, because of his perseverance and long-suffering, characteristics that can go unnoticed. But what I can say is, man, I love you, and for all of us here, because of you, for our entire adult lives, we've been able to say we were winners, man. Yes. All right.
It's gonna be real quick. My name is Michael Parks, and I played for Bennie as well. Now, everybody knows you play for Bennie. If you make Lincoln's basketball team, you're a hoop. He's not taking no mediocre type people that contribute to the squad, although he might play 6, maybe 7, but you make that squad, you gotta learn from it. My quick story, the one thing I say about Bennie, is about loyalty. Whatever, if you ride with Bennie, and Bennie feels sincere that you're down with him, he's down with you. My personal experience is when Bennie first went to the East Side. Me and Bennie got together. I first started my sport a little bit. Bennie gave me my first school district basketball contract. Yeah. Let me tell you how he did it. He had an adversary with Coach Daniels, who was an AD at the time. I don't remember this. He picked out the uniforms. Bennie did all this stuff with new uniforms. And all of a sudden, we went to Daniels, and Daniels like, okay, but he didn't approve it. Before you know it, I don't know if y'all know the story where we end up at. Bennie said, I told you I picked my uniforms out with him. So his loyalty to me, I'm listening to him, defending me. He wants his contract, give me the contract to do this uniform. But Daniels like, no. And fast forward, y'all remember, that season, he went that first game for East St. Louis Senior High School wearing Lincoln uniform. At that moment, that told me this man got sincere loyalty in his word. And for what I learned from that right there, like I said, blood, sweat, and tears, was all about loyalty. Daniels came to me like, man, well, I tell you what, we got a game next week, I got a tournament. Can you give me the uniform? These are custom-made uniforms. How can you turn around custom-made uniforms in 1 week? But I got it done. Ever since then, it just grows on that. My point is, this here is about loyalty. One thing I can say about Lincoln
It's all about that loyalty. Anyone from Lincoln right now, watch how they respond to you in an aggressive manner, like when you ask what school they went to. Anyone that's come, what school you went to? Lincoln. I mean, gonna be a show coming. We gonna do something. I can't say you know, but in the end, I love you, man. I learned a lot of things from you, believe it or not. Like I said, I played ball all the way up, and I enjoyed in the dunk contest competition with your son here. Back in the day, I can't do it no more, but I don't say I love you, man. I appreciate what you've done, man, and it's all about loyalty, so you got it.
All right.
Hey, we're gonna get away from up here. State champions, the first one. Hey guys, line up front here. Let's go up front. We are known, and Bennie knows, we're known as the P-Boys. And we finna give you the P-Boy move one more time, Bennie. And we're gonna be out your way, all right? Only 1, 2, 3, P-Boys.
Don't hurt nothing. Same with you. Look at it, look, you pulled something. See? Look, I stopped you before it got worse. We'll give it up for the 1982 team one more time. They were the first, but also the first black high school to win a state championship in the state of Illinois. Wow, that's interesting to hear that at one point you were a psychiatrist, because by the time we came along, you just said you jokes crazy. We had no hope. We had no hope at all. Cause like, you know, every time you asked Bennie how we were doing, they in bad shape. That was the main response. No matter how good we were looking, they in bad shape. I find myself saying that sometimes. Man, I'm in bad shape. All right, like I said, the first 4 state titles in 8 seasons. That was 1982, and then Vinnie Lewis was the architect of one of the greatest runs in Illinois State basketball history. State championships in 1987, 88, 89. No team had ever three-peat until the East St. Louis Lincoln Tigers were able to do it. Our next speaker played on that second championship team, the 1987 team. He was a part of a starting 5 that featured Mark Chambers, Rodney Chase, LaFonso Ellis, James Harris, and Chris Rogers. That was a big team. That was a big team. I introed Mark Chambers earlier. He was a starting guard on that team, 1987. Now I'm going to bring up Chris Rogers, starting 4 on that team.
You wouldn't have got us, Chris.
So, this February we all saw the North Carolina Duke game, the traditional North Carolina Duke game that happens every year. Happened to be Coach Krzyzewski's last game. Everybody recognized the feast that he had. But as I was looking at the game, I couldn't notice but the gathering of ex-players, what they call the brotherhood. They do. They put the program together through the years, put it on the map. I can't help but say I'm honored tonight to be a part of this because as I looked at that, I wanted to be a part of an event like that and found out that tonight, this is our brotherhood. Now, I'm sure Boss would rather me give an example, as he told us, of John Thompson and Hoya Peridot. Other than like Krzyzewski and Blue Devils. But I couldn't help but think saw what 82 was. That was the mark for us. 82. Todd, T-Row, Mark, Darryl, Pfeiffer, off the bench. Yes, sir. The old. My people have said it before. The exact quote on the wall is excellence at this institution is achieved through blood, sweat, and tears.
Right.
I look at that every day. I remember my love for Lincoln basketball coming when I was 10 years old. And actually, Jimmy Ike lives, well, I don't know where he went. Jimmy Ike lived 2 doors from me. And every morning I'd see him walking up the street with that Lincoln bag. And I'm like, I'm gonna have that bag one day. Have that bag. We go to the games. I sit up in the corner. I see the orange jackets with the bunny on them. All that culture created. All that culture created. We go, and then we see all the practices. We hear the legend of the stories of the running. Matter of fact, I remember we got there one time and he told us a couple stories. He was like, son, y'all need to get me. He's like, when I was playing, if we saw somebody on fire, we'd go gasoline on them. If somebody was drowning, we'd pee in the water. He gave us those stories about when you were walking and late at night, how they used to work. He's like, it'd be dark outside and the lights would be low and I'd dribble real low, and then when a car comes by and show a light on the basket, I shoot, boom, that was the bottom. The stories, the myth that built up. I knew that we were in grand territory when the story would come about when the 82 team, he would spot the other team 50 points or something like that, and he'd tell the other team, go get it. I knew we were in a good land when he said, put the first team out, put 50 points on the board, let's go get it. I remember the stories when we went to Springfield, when we went to Super Section one year. Our junior year. We lost, we thought we would make it to state. And before that game, I remember us going to eat, and everybody had everything from nacho cheese. He didn't guard us, he didn't guard what we eat. We had nacho cheese, nachos, all this other junk. We lost that game, and I remember the next year he was there, he was guarded by the salad bar, describing what everybody came. Salads, one piece of meat, drinks, things of that sort. I guess I say that because that tradition lived on to some degree. I remember when I was in Wyoming. I was at a meeting in Wyoming. I don't know how many of you all went to Wyoming. But there's a term there. It's a term that they use called riding the brand. It's an Old West term. Ranchers use it because they use the brand to brand horses, brand the cattle, and you knew when you saw that brand what it meant. And that's what this program has meant to me. This was programming to us. Everybody's dictated. You know that Lincoln brand when you saw it. It was pressure. It was toughness. It was fight to the end. It was to the point that I remember our junior year, we had James and Fonzo go down, but nobody on that bench ever blinked because we thought we could win in any phase.
Already.
Riding with the brand means they know what good stock you were from, and that riding with the brand means you would defend that laws, that brand with ultimate loyalty. That brand is ran the test of time. That brand is the strain that stands through Eastside's head coach now. That brand took us from 1972 till now. Can't say enough about that brand and what it did for me personally, still to this day. There's no time that I've been away from this program that I have not leaned on those teachings, on that brand and what it meant. Just because you wear orange and black, you want orange and black, that means excellence, and you will achieve whatever you need to through blood, sweat, and tears.
You know that's right. You know that's right, Chris. You know that's right, Chris.
Few people get a chance to see their work in front of them. People get their flowers now. I think Bennie's having his third time. And I'd just like to say that it's been an honor to be a part of this program. It's been an honor to be associated with it. It's an honor to associate with you all. There's no time with everybody out in front of that I'm not proud to be a part of an East St. Louis Lincoln Title program. I tell everybody to some degree. You see somebody from East St. Louis, they say they're from St. Louis. They ain't originally from East St. Louis.
That's right, that's right.
I asked one time, they said it was Lincoln basketball. I'm like, give me some names. You can't ride that unless you earn it with blood, sweat, and tears, baby. So with that, I want to thank you for everything you've done for me. I hope we made you proud. I'm glad to be here today to represent you.
I give it up on the 8-17. And once again, that was the first of 3 consecutive state championships. The 1988 representative is unable to be here, but Boss Alfonso has a message for you.
Hey there, Coach Lewis. It's Bonds. Sorry I can't be there to celebrate with you. You're more than worthy of that honor and to be celebrated. Thank you for the role model that you were. My 3 years while I was in high school, you took fantastic care of me. You're not only a great coach, but you're a great man also. So we celebrate you today. I know I can't be there physically, but I'm there with you in spirit. May the Lord continue to bless you and your family with great health and longevity. Love you, Coach. Thank you.
Now the Lincoln basketball team is rolling. They capped off their three-peat with a thrilling triple overtime game-winning shot by Vincent Jackson against Peoria Central to wrap up that 3rd consecutive state championship. And before I introduce Rico Sylvester, Sharif Ford, and Marco Harris, something that especially you kids should look up. Sharif Ford is credited for the term three-peat. A lot of people believe that that came from Pat Riley and the Lakers. He was the more famous person that made that phrase a phrase. But if you go back and look, Sharif Ford was being interviewed by a St. Louis Post-Dispatch newspaper reporter, and he asked him about going back to state. And he was like, well, we're going to shoot. We're just trying to win it again. You know, shoot. Not to repeat, three-peat. And it just kind of came out that way. And he is known, he's actually acknowledged as one of the first people to ever say three-peat. So go check your history. There's a lot of history in East St. Louis, especially with Lincoln basketball. Without further ado, let's bring up members from that 89 team. Rico Sylvester, Sharif Ford, and Marco Harris.
How y'all doing? This is amazing tonight. It's so good to see so many former hoopers, but we're ready for that 3-on-3. We don't want that smoke. I'm lying. Again, my name is Marco Harris. I played on the 88 and 89 team. I was at Lincoln in 87, so I'm going to claim that one too. So I won 3 of them. Not only played basketball for Boss, I also played baseball. And over that time, we developed a great relationship. I've been blessed to follow in his footsteps and become a coach. And I have great memories of being a coach. But one of my most fond memories was when I was at Tennessee. I think I got a call from Bennie Jr. telling me Boss was coming to the basketball game in Tennessee. It was Bennie, his beautiful wife, Bennie Jr., Clarko, Reddy Town. It just so happened like this. We had Sharif there, Stanford around, who else, Jason? And a lot of people want to come see us, but as coaches, you have no idea how much it feels when you guys come see us.
Right.
Bennie to come do that, because he didn't have to. I couldn't win a basketball game for him. I didn't pay for his gas. He did his own travel to come see us. And I speak for Zoe when I say this, Conzo, for you guys who don't know. That really meant the block, man. I'm fine that I know you. All you done for my life, like the rest of these guys, man. I can never thank you. And I'm proud to say that I played for you, that I know you, and you was my coach. And we talking about these state championship teams. 87 was great. I got to see that. 88 was really good. 89, we had some misfits. And I don't mean that in a bad way. We just had a bunch of young guys who was outgoing. You know, you talking about Stanford Rally, these two, Conzo, Jason, Vince Jackson. Like we really, I can tell the story now, boss, you can't get us. Our first night at state, our senior year 89, we stayed up all night hanging out. There wasn't no drinking and alcohol involved, so we didn't get that out the way, but they probably had some girls. I ain't none of that. But the funny thing about it, you guys remember, we won on the buzzer. Sharif made a shot, Conzo stole the ball. We won on the buzzer, but prior to that, we played so bad, Rico fouled out in the third quarter. So, boys coming down the court like, man, I'm cracking. Like we played our worst game, but we stayed up all night, like hanging out. After we won the game, you guys watched, we just ran to the locker room. When we cried like babies. Like we didn't cheer at all, because we knew we almost tricked it off by hanging out that night, because it was special to us. So we locked in, as you guys can see. We won the last state championship in Lincoln history. We made history. 82 started it, we win it. We love you, we honor you, man, and this is well deserved. Thank you.
I just want to say this before we wrap up this, and Darius Moss come on. I just wanted to say that Bennie helped, and the Lincoln basketball program helped without foundation as me. We went through challenging situations at the school because with so many guys wanted to be a part of that it was competitive. So, we learned how to deal with challenging situation, adversity. I can remember the time in which my senior year, I was, 6'4", and we had like a 6'8" guy, Tree Willis. And I just took it for granted that he was going to start. I outworked him, but I just said, no, Bennie needs that height. And with me, Bennie was different. Me coming from the Old Weathers, and I was inspired by Mordell because he brought one to the Old Weathers first. But with me, Bennie, he was on me, and he used to push me, so he took me out of my comfort zone. And everybody knows that when you get comfortable being uncomfortable, success starts to happen for you. So the first game of the season, Bennie, he held his cards close to his chest when he was dealing with me. So we were out of town at a Christmas tournament, and I stood, the starting lineups, they sit down and they call their names out. So I stood up with the other guys, and I took it for granted that Tree was going to start. Bennie started. Okay, called my name. And I had a beautiful game. But Conzo, you all know him, great player, he had 32 points. I was a senior from the Old Weathers. I wanted to go to college. I was 7 for 7, he had 14 points. Everybody running around after the game, enjoying the game. I'm up in the room with a point guard complaining. Like, man, Conzo had 30 points. I'm 7 for 7. Give me the ball. And then I had a few choice words. Bennie outside the door just listening. We had guys on the team that would not even tell me that he was out there. I'm on a rant, and he just listened. So he came in, had a few choice words for me. Never started again, but listen to the story. I became one of the best 6 men in the area. I accepted my role, and as you can see, we made history. So that's
something to aspire to, and that helped with my foundation. So I just want to say I appreciate your family, Bennie. Thank you.
I guess they say the greatest for last, you know. But, we all know how great of a coach Boss was. But I want to touch on more of, how great of a person he was, because he's touched plenty of lives in his 27 years. He set a foundation, a work ethic in all of us that have created some great men in here, man. And I just want to applaud him for that. I'm coaching at Eastside now with Coach Chambers, and we follow a lot of the teachings that he taught us. And his method, it works. Not only for basketball, but for life. He teaches kindness, caring, having compassion for others. Bennie, helped, I'm talking about thousands of kids. And so it inspires me to do those same things. And I just want to thank him and applaud him for being the great man he is. I appreciate all of y'all for coming out and supporting this man because he deserves everything he gets.
But, growing up, you always heard Bennie couldn't coach basketball. Just think about that. Think about, I mean, I'm right. Am I the only one that heard that coming up?
No.
You went coach of the decade, you were a Hall of Famer. You couldn't coach basketball. Like I said, I've been blessed to coach basketball. And I always heard this when I was growing up, he don't like me. I coach. I don't have to like you. You will have me win, I'm gonna play you.
That's
You're not
right.
instructed, so
That's right.
I just want to just reach out and say something about that, man. I thought it was BS back then. I'm old enough, I got a voice now, so I can say it. It's some BS. The man is a living legend. We're glad we're giving you your flowers, boss. I love how you shook the haters off even before they became a term. All right?
We have another member from the 1988 team that was unfortunately unable to attend, but boss, 89, I'm sorry, my bad, Jermaine, the Lincoln historian over here, ain't gonna let me mess up. But we have another message for you, boss.
Hello everybody, this is Conzo Martin, graduate of St. Louis Lincoln High School, 1990. I was a part of 3 state championships, and in my senior year we finished 3rd place, and I say 3 because some of you guys are probably laughing like, no, he was only a part of 2. Well, I claim 3 because East St. Louis Lincoln High School didn't start until the 10th grade, so I consider me being in the 9th grade, I was a part of it, so 3 state championships. I was blessed to be tutored, mentored, and taught by one of the greatest high school teachers in the history of high school basketball, not just in the state of Illinois, but in the history of high school basketball. Bennie Boswell was a wonderful man, and I thought he was a tremendous teacher. And a lot of my ways of teaching, as a coach, I learned from him. He had a tremendous amount of humility in teaching. His passion, his compassion for his players. The biggest thing that I learned from him, a tremendous teacher, puts you in a position to be successful. But the thing that you don't understand when you're younger, he was consistent and he was present. And I thank him for that because I knew that meant if he was present with us, he had to give more to us and he probably wouldn't with his family as much as he would like. And I learned that as a coach, so he was always present. You're talking about from Sunday to Thursday, in the summertimes, opening the gym, summer camps, making sure we're there consistent and present. And as I've navigated through this thing for 25 plus years, I haven't seen that from a lot of coaches, even on the college level. He was always there. And that meant a lot to me, especially when I got older and I started to understand how it worked and what it took from his family because he was present with us to make sure we got what we needed in life. The accountability, and I learned that. Just doing the right things, working extremely hard, having confidence. You talk about a tremendous teacher of confidence. He gave you confidence. He did a great job with that. I appreciate everything you did for me, boss. means a lot to me. I hate that I can't be there. I appreciate you. I respect you. I love you as my teacher. Yeah, you were a coach. You were a tremendous coach, but you were a teacher/father, man. You did a wonderful job, and I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Your selfless, SELFLESS, your selfless approach allowed a lot of young men to grow. I thank you. Take care.